curious. How many times Facebook is going to make us go live before it let us go live together? So Dr. is here. If you have been seeing the notifications of me popping on live, I have legitimately gone live. This is my 4th time. The first one was to share some thoughts I had about the new movie from Tyler Perry, Straw. Excuse me. The second time I went live, I had forgotten some things that I also saw that I didn't mention, or the thoughts weren't fully developed when I went live earlier. So I popped back on to share those, in addition to popping on with Dr. A, because it was some things that I was talking about in the first live that she I called them a calm rant. She called it a rant. I called it a calm rant. There was some overlap, but I couldn't get her added on. So then I tried to go onto her page. It wouldn't let me add onto her page. Then I tried to go live again. So technically this is the 5th time. 4th time for me, 5th time total. I tried to go live a little while ago. She could get on, but I couldn't see her and she couldn't see me, and we were kind of waiting for somebody else to pop on to see if y'all could see. If y'all can see us, it's cool. Even if we can't see each other, excuse me. For those of you who don't know, I am driving back to St. Louis from North Carolina, and normally by now I would be in St. Louis because I would be significantly earlier, but I didn't get on the road until a little after 11 Eastern Standard Time. So this point, sis want to lay down, but I got like 4 more hours to drive. So anyway, we're gonna try this again. So if you all are on here, if y'all, if you pop on, even if you don't stay long enough, if you can see both of us, then hopefully you'll stay for the entire conversation. But at bare minimum, if you could tell us if you can see us both, that would be great.
Yes.
Is there anything other than this about it?
Hey, Dr. A.
Hey, sorry.
No, you're good. So I still can't see you, but you can see you, right?
I'm sorry. Repeat your last question. Sorry, I'm trying to order food.
You trying to do what?
Order food. Hold on 1 second.
So while Dr. is getting herself together, because I just ate a little something. So I didn't even, at this point, I'm just popping on. I ain't taking the time to put titles on and all of this, so I'll do it later. So, what we wanted to talk about is just like the impact of grief on a person. So that's part of it. We want to talk about the impact of grief on a person. We also want to talk about maybe how, and I'll let Dr. A explain more, but like how I mean, I'm going to say church, black folk in the church, she can correct me if I'm wrong, but how we don't necessarily help people deal with grief in a way that is maybe the most helpful or beneficial or practical. Excuse me, yo. I'd have had a Mountain Dew, and you would think the caffeine would kick in, but it's not. So, hey, if people are popping on, hey, Jada, can you? No, sorry. Hey, Jada. Can you see 2 people on your screen? If you can just say in the comments whether or not you see just me or just Dr. A or if you see both of us. She and I can't see each other, but if y'all can see us, at this point we just gonna get right. Or Miss Charlton. Okay, awesome. So you can see both of us. Perfect. For whatever reason, I can't see her and she can't see me. But if y'all can see us both. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. All right. So, Dr. A, you got your food, or you still need a couple of minutes?
No, I'm good. I'm sorry. I'm
No,
good.
you're fine.
I know
All
this is
this hard work of trying
very.
to get together is gonna make you hungry. So I'm gonna let you share kind of what your thoughts were on Sunday, and I can piggyback on
Okay.
whatever.
Sorry, everybody. I thought I was gonna have time to grab something and then be paying attention. I know y'all looking like, what is she doing? We're sorry, y'all. I promise I don't
Roll
be
it
like
up.
this all the time.
Hey, hey, roll it up. Roll it up. Sorry, my
Sorry,
turn to
y'all.
have a distraction.
This is right. This is live and in color. Thank y'all for joining us. First of all, I am
Thank
Dr. A. Actually, this is a perfect spot for me to kind of sit and pause for a minute and talk. So earlier in my live that I deleted, I talked about, I was trying to connect where we were having this conversation, Dr. S and I, about grief and like kind of like grief in the Black church, well, in churches that are predominantly Black, maybe not the whole Black church. And specifically in my church, we have a lot of members right now that are experiencing some sort of grief. Thank you.
Enjoy your week and have a great evening, and also be safe.
Thank you. Now I get it when those influencers be doing their voiceovers and they be doing it when they getting their food. The little girl was like, she wanted me to have a good day and be safe, so I didn't want to cut off.
Nope, look, we
But
heard her. She was very cheerful. We
she
appreciate her.
was, and I was like, I was trying to give her that look like, ma'am. Let me let her do her. Let me let them do their job. But how grief may and other mental health matters, right, may or may not be handled in some churches, right? Um, and we had my church had a mental health like panel where we had some mental health professionals come in, and I remember specifically that one of them talked about like, hey, have somebody who is a mental health professional in your congregation to basically be the point person for when certain members go through things, they're able, the leadership is able to let them know like, hey, this is who you go to if you need like services or things like that. And so I just wonder, and like, so the mini rant that I had was like this. I was listening to this sermon by Pastor Mike's brother. His name is Darius McClure. And and it was a great sermon, but he said something and it just kind of hit me the wrong way. I'm like, we say these church colloquialisms, right? Like, I dare you to praise God for 30 seconds for your next. There's something I feel like we've all heard. Or, turn around 3 times and on that third spin, X, Y, and Z will happen, right? And so I'm like, but what if we've done that and then nothing changed, right? And so I think what ties around, especially in this particular conversation about grief, what if I'm grieving, right? And I think when we are dealing with certain matters of the mind, certain matters of the heart, I don't want to speak for anyone who's grieving, but for me, when I am like feeling a certain way, I want relief. So I'm going to do the thing that you say do as the expediter of the service, if you will, because I want relief, right? But relief doesn't come, well, I'm gonna speak for me. Relief doesn't always come when we do these performative, that I call performative actions that we have done in church, for so many years. And what I wanted to know was, what can I do? Because I ironically, I'm not a therapist, but a lot of my friends are therapists. And I'm like, so I don't want to go as far as to say prayer is not enough. Because, sometimes we'll just be like, the remedy for whatever is just have faith. The remedy for, whatever is sometimes just pray, right? And I dare not say that that's not enough. However,
Right.
I do believe that we have people in places for these newly evolved things that
Chill
we
out.
deal with now. And I feel like
Chill
we've
out. I'm doing something.
always dealt with them.
I'm doing
However,
something.
however, I think the way we have dealt with them is changing. And
Mm.
as a person, as I say, as a lay member who may not right now be grieving, but my heart is like, tugged towards those who are grieving. I asked the question, I said, well, what can I do? I definitely don't want to say nothing like, well, I know what you're going through, because I don't. Right? Like, yes, I
Right.
have grieved before. And but I don't. And I just had the question of, outside of these things that, we do in church, what can we do to, like, as a body, as a family that we say we are, what can we do to address these things? How can we, yeah, how can we, like I said, I'm not necessarily, I am in leadership, but when I think leadership, I think top leadership. I think pastor, I think first lady, I think, elder board, what have you, board members, what have you. But like, as a person who just sits next to a person who lost her brother, like, what can I do? So that's where all of this kind of stems from.
Yeah. So I think, so for those of you who may or may not have seen my earlier lives, I was sharing some of my thoughts on the movie Straw by Tyler Perry. And one of the overarching themes that you don't realize is a theme until almost the end of the movie is grief. And in that movie, we don't know that she's grieving, but we know something is going on. And there are so many different types of ways that people handled her. Lots of people mishandled her. And there were a couple of people who handled her, with love and care and affection. And so when I was thinking about that and then thinking about, what Dr. A had shared, it's like, okay, well, we're looking at that movie, and that's for lack of a better word, I'm gonna say a non-Christian um, themed movie, right? So you're like, oh, okay, well, of course, I'm not surprised that people, or people say might respond this way or that way or whatever. But then you think about, like, in the church, you're like, the expectation is, oh, well, these are people who are going to be loving and gracious and kind, and maybe they are, and maybe even in their gracious, loving and to agree.
Hey, Dr. S, I don't know if you can hear me, but you blanked out your what's the
Or
word?
or people, they give you a scripture or or Dr. Dre, I think that's what it is. And then those kind of things, like the Lord, and then those kind of things, you play how much you can. Not able to what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I don't feel like praying,
Mm-hmm.
what are my other options?
Mm-hmm.
And so us meaning the Black church,
Mm-hmm.
being prepared for those additional conversations, and or if we're not prepared, I know you were like, I'm not in leadership, but we're all in leadership in the sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any hierarchy
Mm-hmm.
in able to be present
Mm-hmm. You're going in and out, so I don't know if you asked me a question or not. I know you might be driving through some trees.
I said, yeah, I was sense, and then I was throwing it back to you.
Okay. Yeah, so I think and especially again, I didn't see the movie, but from what I have read, which I'm okay with people spoiling it for me. I actually like this because I don't like surprises like this, so I want to know what's gonna happen. With somewhere I read that, and Dr. S even just said it, that it wasn't apparent that she was grieving right later. And it's so interesting how we can create things in our mind, because our mind, like what I have learned about trauma, is that our mind will do things to protect itself. And when a trauma happens, and so whatever that looks like in that moment, I think in some cases that was being like displayed in the movie. And here again, why we need mental health professionals in spaces where we spend time, some of us, the majority of our time. And what would that look like, right? And we can even go back to how counseling in the Black community was considered taboo, right? So yes, back in the day, just pray about it was the colloquialism that we gave because we didn't believe in counseling. And so now I am glad to see that we are consolidating or reconciling, may be a better word, of like what would that look like in space, a church space, as opposed to like we kind of stand around and don't know. I don't think we always know what to do because, like I said, I feel like people have been, and maybe in some cases we're desensitized. Like people have been losing family members, and it seems as if after the funeral, after the things have gone on, and I could be wrong because I don't be in everybody's space. That crowd that you had being there like slowly dwindles down to maybe one or two people who are keeping up with you or checking up on you or doing things like that. And like I remember reading somewhere when somebody had passed away, it's like when, especially during the prep phase of the funeral or the memorial service or what have you, like I heard that this is not the time to call them after the funeral. This is the time to check on them because that's when everything goes quiet. And so it just made me like, sometimes I think we can do ourselves a disservice by like doing business as usual, right? Like, not mourning with those who mourn, which is actually, like I said, it's blessed with those who mourn with those who mourn. Like, I think sometimes, and I can maybe speak for myself, because it's not me, it's easy for me to detach. It's easy for me not to mourn with you because it's not me. Like, I'm not feeling it. You know what I'm saying? So it's easier for me to detach, or it's easier for me um, like I said, hey, I offer my condolences and then go on about my day.
Right.
Um, so I don't know. It just it's just so interesting that I think we have a lot of people that are grieving, and like I said, this movie, I guess, is very timely because, like, what can grief look like? How can grief be expressed, right? Like, and who how do we come and be there for people who are grieving now? And here's the thing, and I also realize this: everybody does not have the capacity to deal with people's grief. Like,
Right.
I think that's something we should also be honest about. Like, I don't know how to deal with you when you're experiencing this extreme sadness or this extreme hurt. I don't know what to do. I even told one of my church members, I was like, I feel for you. I empathize with you, and I always don't know what to say. And she said, it's okay. And I think just me saying that to her, she was like, it's okay that you don't know what to say.
Right.
Just, stopping to say hi to me, or, stopping to, say whatever to me is enough. And I said, I'll make a point to say, and if I don't know what else to say, I'll make a point to tell her I love her. Um, but yeah, I don't always know what to say. And I think for me, because I feel like I always have to have something to say, it's a different, like, territory to navigate.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think so much. So I'm trying to remember all the things. So I'm gonna try to start at the end and circle back to the beginning. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that is key too, in that it's not always about actual speech and language.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's just about presence, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just
Mm-hmm.
like you said, a hug, a I love you,
Mm-hmm.
standing beside somebody. If we're talking specifically in a church service, just standing beside
Mm-hmm.
them
Mm-hmm.
and letting them breathe, letting them collapse on your shoulder, letting them cry. No words have to be spoken, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
present. I'm here for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you need me. And then I think too, like you were saying, people people grieve differently. So the people who are
Mm-hmm.
experiencing grieve differently, and they may or may not grieve in a way that you're familiar with or comfortable with. And so you have to know yourself and what you can and cannot offer. Like you said, your capacity, and I mean the general, universal you.
Mm-hmm.
A person
Mm-hmm.
understand what their capacity is. And then also
Mm-hmm.
you had mentioned how, like at the time of death, at the funeral, at the repast, maybe a couple of days afterwards, it's a lot of people present. And that for some
Mm-hmm.
people can be overwhelming. And then,
Mm-hmm.
days, months go by, and where are the
Mm-hmm.
people? And
Mm-hmm.
because grief is cyclical, and it I might be okay a week
Mm-hmm.
after, but a month
Mm-hmm.
later it might rise back up, and I need them same casseroles. You know what I'm saying? I need those
Mhm.
same people
Mhm.
being present for me,
Mhm.
like they were, because in those moments it feels like it did when it first happened, even if it's 6 months later, even if
Mhm.
it's, you know 3 years later. And so for those outside people, just being mindful, and I had mentioned that in my earlier
Mhm.
live, just like check. We say we're mindful of mental health. We say, you know, check on your strong friends. We say
Mhm.
things within these that. Do we do that?
Mhm.
Do we
Mhm.
actually rally around the people who
Mhm.
need the things consistently? Like you said, for an extended period of time. Like, I'll use a personal example. my mom has been deceased for 11 years now,
Mm-hmm.
and I have one of the friends, like, remember she heard my mama still better than me. And she'll be
Mm-hmm.
like, just
Mm-hmm.
check, y'all okay today?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's an example of how can you success for
Mm-hmm.
people who are experiencing grief. So yes, in the moment, you there, you hand holding, you offering services, bringing by the pot roast,
Mm-hmm.
calling your check. Like keep that same energy,
Mm-hmm.
throughout. As much as you feel like your capacity can withstand, and as much as they need, but just being
Mm-hmm.
present. So that was a whole
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Mm-hmm. No, no, and I think that's good. And I think saying keeping that same energy is like being almost having a talk with yourself, right? Like, listen, if I start this, you better be prepared to see it through.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? If I start whatever I start, because this is a this is a matter of, I think that's what it means to when you walking with your brother or sister in a something like this,
Mhm.
right? Like this is not just if I'm like you said, I'm like that you use the excuse. I need the same casseroles, you know, if you notice me not, if you notice that my grief has made a turn, I need those same casseroles. However, it's almost like you're making a commitment to, okay, if I start this, I'm gonna see this through. Now that doesn't mean that, like, because like you said, grief can last for years. And I like that example that you just used. Like, to some people remember it clearer than you because, like, right now, like they are checking up. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
think when you are as a fellow community member, specifically in a church, and you are, being present, I think keeping just a mental note for yourself, like don't just be present, like you said, when everybody else is present, right? Be
Mhm.
present, follow up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and I'm definitely guilty of it too. Me just having a conversation with one of my church members, like, because like I feel like she was the one, not she, but a family member of hers passed away, and then another family member passed. Like it was like 5 or 6 like
Oh
funerals
wow.
that had happened in the course. Let's just say 2 months. To me, that's a lot. That's a whole lot.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
and so, like, but I remember hers being one of the first ones, and me just like, oh my goodness, I was thinking of somebody else. But the fact she was sitting there, I was like, hey, how you doing? Um, and I asked her, like, I feel like we were close enough. I was like, hey, have you thought about grief counseling? She was like, I know I need to go, but I just, and I don't know if she don't have the resources. I don't know if she had, I didn't get that far because church was starting. But it was just, checking in and being present because, like, the whomever shares, somebody passed away for a reason. It's not just for them to share it. It's for them, like, hey, y'all, make sure you check, because we can't do it by ourselves, meaning like pastor, first lady, elder board, whomever. I remember we used to have a person who would just specifically check on the bereaved, right? I don't even know if we have a
Mhm.
person like that anymore.
Yeah.
But that was their job. Like, you had a person that checked on the sick and shut in, and you had a person that would check on the people who were grieving. And
I
but
can
I
hear.
think who, me or Parker?
No, my child.
Oh.
I can hear your music. Thank you.
But no, I think, like, and as I'm talking this out, I'm like, hey, this is probably why. I didn't think about this. This is probably why they shared this. Like, hey, check on the folks that you sit next to.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah.
Right. I think something else you said. I don't know if you said it explicitly. Is what
Hmm.
I heard.
Hmm.
Is
Oh,
So
excuse me.
sometimes we don't have the capacity, like either we don't have the knowledge or we literally
Mm-hmm.
don't have the emotional capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think sometimes too, we feel like, well, I don't want to bring it up to them because I don't want to make them sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Definitely.
know, like I don't
Definitely.
want to ask you how you doing because they
Yep.
look like they doing okay, or maybe they're doing
Yep.
okay, and then if I ask them, then it's gonna bring it up. I can
That's
guarantee
good.
you that's not the case. Like, bring it
That's
up.
good.
You know,
That's
you,
good.
you can't make somebody more sad than they already sad. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we need to be, you know, I mean, obviously we need to be tactful,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think we need to not have a conversation with someone specifically around grief because we're
Mm-hmm.
concerned
Mm-hmm.
about, like, I'm gonna make them think about something. No, if they're thinking about it,
Mm-hmm. They thinking about it all the time. Like,
it's on
yeah.
their mind, right? You know, it's on their mind, and so just how
Mm-hmm.
considerate and compassionate
Mm-hmm.
that would be for somebody to be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about you. How are you doing? How are you
Mm-hmm.
feeling? How are you holding
Mm-hmm.
up? The holidays are coming up, or if you know
Mm-hmm.
when that person's birthday
Mm-hmm.
is, or anniversary. Like, all of these
Mm-hmm.
things are just so, um, challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, if sometimes we personally, if it's not us, it might not resonate strongly with us. But as
Mm-hmm.
our brothers and sisters keepers,
Mm-hmm.
particularly if they are people that you know and love, just have that little bit of mindfulness to be like, this is probably a hard, if a person's mom has passed away and it's Mother's Day coming up,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be a
Mm-hmm.
hard time. Their father
Mm-hmm.
or uncle or
Mm-hmm.
brother or whatever passed away. You know what? It's 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 June. Father's
Mm-hmm.
Day is. How you doing? And
Mm-hmm.
and really
Mm-hmm.
meaning that, right? When you ask them, when
Mm-hmm.
you're checking in with them, you sincerely are ready to hear. So if they are, you know what, I'm doing okay, or if they're like, you know what, this has been hard. Like, either way, we be prepared for whatever their response is going to be, and then be able to hold that space for them
Mm-hmm.
if they do need
Mm-hmm.
to cry, not wail, you
Mm-hmm.
know, whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to be mindful of, especially because it's not just that pat answer of pray about it, God got
Mm-hmm.
you. And I know some people might be
Mm-hmm.
like, well, that's not a pat answer. That's not. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yes, and
Mm-hmm.
those things are important, and we should keep doing them. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, and this is just my own personal opinion,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when we give a churchy response, it's the last thing somebody want to hear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was just talking to somebody the other day, and she was like, yeah, she was sharing something, and she
Mm-hmm.
was like, somebody gave her scripture, and she was like, I don't want no scripture. She was like, I want to be able to, express how I'm feeling
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
be heard.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things from the movie too. Like, I'm like, she just wanted to be heard. She wanted to be
Mm-hmm.
seen. So
Mm-hmm.
for some people, they just want to be like, I'm angry, or I'm sad,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm scared, or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
then to be like, well, God don't. Can you just say, I'm sure you do. I
Mm-hmm.
I hear what you're saying. I can
Mm-hmm.
understand how you feel that way. You know what? I
Mm-hmm.
would be overwhelmed too. Like, all
Mm-hmm.
of those are
Mm-hmm.
great answers.
Mm-hmm.
You are no less a Christian because you don't give a
Mm-hmm.
Christian, Christianese
Yeah.
response.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah.
And you're right. Sometimes, and as a Christian, sometimes it gets on my nerves too. I'm sorry, it's bad. Maybe not, but I'm like, I didn't. And I'm not gonna probably ever open up to you again because I don't. I don't want you to be. I don't want that to be the response. Like you
Right.
said, sometimes I just want to be validated in my feelings.
Mhm.
Um, and be like almost have permission to say it's okay that you feel that way, right? It's okay if it's coming out
Absolutely.
that way. Something you said earlier when in another live we was trying to connect on, but you were
So,
saying one of the older people in the movie was kind of like saying, you know, is this is not that big a deal because I've gone through X, Y, and Z.
ooh,
And,
child.
and I'm like, look, I wish people would stop doing that.
Right.
That's number one. I would, because yes, you have gone through your things, but right now, especially, and I'm just assuming just by with the highlight um reaction and response to this movie, that like whatever she was going through, it was a lot for her. And so
Mhm.
like and you're making a point of, you know, now we're the older ones, right? Like, you know, where in Jude it says older women teach the younger women. I was like, dang, I'm an older woman.
Mhm. It's Titus, by
And
the way, but go ahead.
Titus, thank you. No, correct me, please. I don't want to be out here giving wrong references. Oh, oh, Titus, thank you. But like, make sure when a young lady comes to you, and this is just to the general people out there listening, like, please don't compare with your I had it worse story. Like,
Mhm.
like,
Right.
that just is, I remember it was a long time ago. I was saying something and then I ended with what I said. I ended what I said with, oh, well, you know, that's life. And the woman, she just wants to one up me with how hard her struggle was. I'm like, man, I stopped listening. I was like, I don't care. Cause you didn't have to do all that. That was not
Right.
the time for you to go like, well, my life was worse, so suck it up. No,
Right.
like, no,
Right.
So no, I like that you
Absolutely.
had made that point about that. Yeah, I like
Yes.
that you had made that point.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, that's absolutely true. Like, and here's the thing: we're talking. So when Dr. A initially mentioned this to me on Sunday, she was talking about grief as it relates to death,
Hmm.
and everything we're saying is valid with relation to that. And of course, if people pop on later, who knows what this is gonna look like with the
Hmm.
screen and stuff. But
Right.
if y'all watch the replay, we would love to hear your thoughts. And I
Hmm.
also like to highlight that grief presents itself in lots of different ways, not just
Hmm.
because someone has passed away. Like,
Hmm.
it could be grief because of, a divorce, or grief because of, um, I don't know, experience. Like, I've experienced grief with my child not doing what he needed to do academically, and I'm not trying to make light of
Hmm.
all of these very
Hmm.
tragic situations. I'm
Hmm.
simply
Hmm.
saying that I want to give people space to be like,
Hmm.
if
Hmm.
they are grieving, that it's still valid. Like, I don't want them to
Yeah.
be like, well, I haven't lost anybody, so is what I'm feeling grief. Like, I feel like I'm grieving, but and they're trying to figure out, your whatever it is. If you're grieving the loss of a job, if you're grieving,
Hmm.
the loss of your youth, if you're grieving
Hmm.
whatever, if you are grieving, that is absolutely valid. And those are
Yeah.
absolutely your feelings. And, lots of times, there are times I feel like people can relate more with like a gift. This sounds super morbid. And sometimes when people are have lost other things or are grieving other things, those are the times when people are that one-upmanship come, or that lack of understanding comes. But they're like, well, how, girl, just get another job, or girl, well, that wasn't your husband, no way. And they, just kind of are real casual. But that feeling, like, there are these scales, like grief scales, and
Hmm.
like divorce ranks right under death. as far as like how it makes you feel when you talk about grief. And so also understanding that people grieve things other than just death. And if they are grieving that thing, whatever it is, validate them. Show empathy. Don't be dismissive just because it's not something you haven't experienced or you don't perceive as significant enough for someone to grieve. Does that make sense?
No, I think that's a very good point. No, I think that's an excellent point, actually.
So yeah, I thought about that when we were, circling back to the older folks being like, well, that's not, a big deal. Well, it is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
It's a big deal to me.
And that's enough.
Right. It's a big deal to me, and that's what matters. So.
And that's enough. Like, so yeah. And again, it just goes back to that. If you are, again, know thyself. If you a person that just can't handle other people's emotions, like this is what I thought emotionally. Well, this is what I think, not thought. This is what I think emotionally unavailability or part of it looks like. You not being able to handle other people's big emotions, so you make yourself unavailable. You know what I'm saying? Or you know me, because I'm gonna go ahead and put myself out there. I will try to do things to quote unquote make them happy, as opposed to sharing that tension with them or that space, that painful space with them. Because it was making me unhappy. So what I was really doing was trying to make myself happy, which is very selfish. Like I will tell y'all, I am unlearning my selfish ways. I'm proud of myself. But that's what I was doing. I didn't want to share the space. So I would try to do something to get and it's so good that you said people avoid bringing up these uncomfortable topics because we don't want to quote unquote make them sad, like it's already on their mind, right? So what I would do is I would try to make, and I'm thinking of a very specific situation. This person was dealing with something, grieving something, a loss of something. And I'm trying to well, let me make you feel better. Like doing all of these things where I want to make you feel better, because when you feel better, I feel better. And it wasn't about them at all. And so, understanding yourself, it's okay. This one preacher is talking about the difference between being nice and being kind, right? And what is the difference of what that looks like. And I'm like, it's okay to be like, hey, I offer my condolences. And if that's your capacity, that's your capacity, right? Some people's capacity may be the dinner train. Let me cook something. Some people's capacity may be to work the funeral. Some people's capacity may be to check on you, whatever. But know what your capacity is, so that you're not doing things that it really is about you. It's not about them.
Yeah.
You're doing things in the name of, I want to make you feel better, but really it is, I want to make me feel better because I don't like those unpleasant feelings. I don't know how to sit in uncomfortable space because I don't know how to sit in uncomfortable spaces with myself. So I definitely don't know how to do it with somebody else.
That is so good. And I think that is kind of a full circle moment in that sometimes the platitudes, the maybe cliche, churchy stuff, and again, I'm not saying any of that is wrong or bad or we shouldn't do it. That's all I'm saying. So please hear me if y'all watch the replay. I wonder if sometimes that's what comes out because, one, we don't have the capacity, and two, that helps us feel better. Like if we are like, girl, God got you, then I don't have to deal with it. Like I don't have to necessarily support you in it because I'm telling you God got you. So I'm giving it to him. I'm passing the baton to him.
Right.
Because I don't have the capacity to do it, and I I don't want to be sad, so I offer these kind of maybe generic statements. So I'm sounding like, and they probably really do genuinely. I'm sorry. Here are my condolences, and they do believe
Mhm.
God's got it and all of that,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
maybe for them in that moment at least,
Mhm.
that's the best they can do. And
Right.
so
Right.
yeah, so to your point, like sometimes we make it about us, but it's absolutely
Mhm.
not about us.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Excuse
No,
me.
it's okay. It's
I'm
okay.
kind of like, we got 3 hours. Not even three. Less than three.
Let's do three. All right, that's good.
Less than three. But yeah, so do you feel like, you know, the thing that led to your calm rant, do you feel like we have discussed that, hit all of
Mhm.
the points that were important to you?
Yeah, and here's the thing, like I think in that calm rant, I think I was expecting somebody else to do something that I could have been doing, right? Like even though
Mm,
on a bigger scale, like I'm like, we should be attending to, their things and no, like these people still got a job to do. But what you
right.
can do is, like I said, just check in. Like, cause I went to Dr. S, everybody, and said, what can I point them, right? Like, again, all of this are really good points. Like, just, checking in on them and don't having to have to, don't having to have, this don't sound right still, don't needing to have the right words to say. Just say, I
Right.
love you. I'm praying for you. Be present, showing up. Like, as I'm talking this out, I think I was waiting for somebody else to do something that I could have been doing. And
Mm,
it was as simple as, again, me recognizing it was a person that was sitting right in front of me. Let me check in with her, even though she wasn't the one I was thinking about. But, like, oh, yeah, she just lost somebody. And somebody that was really close to her in not a great way. And let me see, like, are you going to grief counseling? If not, why? Let me encourage you to go. And that was it. And I felt good about that, right? Like, I felt like I didn't have to have anything extra to say. I didn't have to say nothing super deep. You know what I'm saying? And she even
right.
circled
Oh,
back
that's so
because,
good. Yep.
again, yeah, she texted me later because, like I said, our conversation was interrupted because we were getting ready to start church. But she was like, "Was that all you needed? The guy put me on your heart." And I was like, "Yeah, you and others." I was like, "It's a lot of grief in our church, and I just wanted to check in." And she was like, "Okay," you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
just her being able to share, I'm not where I'm at with God right now. Like, and I was like, I get it. Like, so again, talk
Mhm.
about capacity. Sometimes our capacity is one scripture. She was sharing that, like, I used to be in my word like for hours. And I said, well, sometimes our capacity is one scripture, and that's okay. God still loves us. Like, before you were
Mhm.
anything, you were his daughter. So, and he gets it. So he not mad at you because right now those things have changed. Like, really, it
Right.
hasn't, because you got the same word in you now versus, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
you are okay. This is a process. So, but yeah, this the big thing, the biggest takeaway for me is, don't try to put it off on what you think somebody is not doing. Just, go do it in decency and order. But just go do it,
Yeah.
yourself. Go check in yourself. Because you don't know if they checking in or not. And they could very well be. And me having a quote unquote chip on my shoulder about something that I don't see don't mean it's not happening. So yeah, that's
Mhm.
the biggest takeaway. I think I was projecting uh, quietly. I was projecting something that I could have been doing that I'm empowered
Yeah.
to do. I didn't have to get permission from anybody to do it.
Right. Right. Yes. So true. And I'm glad you um recognize that, and I'm glad that you just shared that, because I think that that is key for all of us. Is we don't. It doesn't have to be the pastor or the first lady. It doesn't have
Mm-hmm.
to be the deacon or the elder. It doesn't have to be the
Mm-hmm.
person who has a quote unquote title.
Mm-hmm.
We are in this together. We are the
Mm-hmm.
body of Christ. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not just the ear's job or just the toes job. It is everybody's job. And so
Mhm.
if someone sees that, if someone feels that, then God put it on your heart for a reason. So damn,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And like you
Mhm.
said, it doesn't have to be like what I'm saying. Oh, it doesn't have to be these like kind of cliche statements. It also don't have to be like this deep prophetic utterance either. You know what I'm saying? It literally is, how are you doing?
Mhm.
How are you
Mhm.
feeling? Are you
Mhm.
okay? Do you
Mhm.
need anything? Like
Mhm. Mhm.
it's not rocket science.
Mhm. Right. No, no, you're right.
It's just like, hey, I was thinking about you. Hey,
Mhm.
you want to grab lunch, or
Mhm.
hey,
Mhm.
it's been 6 months. Were you able to find a support group? Or hey, I heard about this group.
Mhm.
I don't know if you already aware of this or if this is something you're interested in, but
Mhm.
I just wanted to share it. Like,
Mhm.
it's really um simple in
Mhm.
that way. It's just
Mhm.
in the same way we would want somebody to look out for us or check in on us.
Right.
We are doing
Right.
that for other people. So yeah, despite the fact that Facebook wouldn't let us be great, I feel like this was a wonderful and
Mhm.
timely conversation.
Mhm.
It's crazy that, you were thinking about this and then the movie and it just
Mhm.
all kind of came together
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
as far as the conversation. So yeah, I will say that the people who may or may not, like if they don't watch it, they won't hear this. So for the people who
Mhm.
may watch this, even though this is kind of heavy, and Dr. A and I do have another idea in mind for a live that is way lighter. And so
Mhm.
whenever we find time in our schedules to do that, we're gonna pop back on
Mhm.
and share that one because I think sometimes we get on here and we be like, y'all, all the deep, heavy, heavy stuff. But we gonna come back with something where we gonna laugh and be lighthearted, and y'all gonna be going through y'all's. Do people still have CDs? Y'all gonna be going through y'all's Spotify playlist,
Y'all
like, you know
catalogs.
what? Right? Y'all gonna be like, let me stop listening. Let me stop. Never mind. This what? Why was this my favorite song?
Mhm. Mhm.
So anyway. Well, I'm not sure. I think Dr. A is doing laundry. As I just mentioned, I'm going to still be on this road for a couple of more hours, but we appreciate the folks who
Mhm.
popped on live, the folks who will watch the replay. Please, if you have thoughts, questions, comments,
Mhm.
concerns,
Mhm.
critiques, any of the things, feel free to comment and we'll respond. Got
Yep,
anything, Dr. A?
definitely. No, this was good. Thank you for, always always put. That's why I say, let me talk about this. I need a safe place to talk about this first to make sure it ain't crazy. No, but no, everybody, like, if anything, again, if you are doing any type of grieving, like, and I'm glad that Dr. S said that, like, there are people out here who, support you and are willing to listen and um, take care of yourself, right? Like, yeah, I think that's the bottom line. Take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. I like that better.
Absolutely. Be kind to yourself. All right. Well, we love you
All
guys. We will
right.
be back at some other point with better Wi-Fi. And
Better
so,
focus.
better focus. We ain't eating. We ain't driving. We ain't doing laundry. We ain't telling our kid to be quiet. Like we gonna be locked in. We're gonna be locked in. We alive and in living color for sure. Nothing else.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Uh,
We love you guys.
yeah.
We'll see you soon. All right, good
Thanks for
night. Be
watching.
blessed,
Good
Dr.
night.
S.